everyone, welcome. Welcome to Land for Everyone. We're starting our week 4 in Lenten. Sunday. This is your Pastor Yadi. Psalm 107, the verses 1 to 3, 17 and 22. Oh, give thanks to the Lord, for he is good. For his steadfast love endures forever. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so, those he redeemed from trouble, and gathered in from the lands, from the east and from the west, from the north and from the south. Some were sick through their sinful ways, and because of their iniquities endured affliction. They loathed any kind of food, and they drew near to the gates of death. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he saved them from their distress. He sent out his word and healed them, and delivered them from destruction. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wonderful works to humankind, and let them offer thanksgiving, sacrifices, and tell of his deeds with songs of joy. Please read the whole psalm. I know it's Sunday, you're busy, and these are just a couple of verses that I just read. But please read it anyway. The psalm is not a short one. When you do, you feel as well as see the obvious pattern. Things are going badly wrong, wandering in the desert, prisoners in darkness, sick and dying, tossed about on the wild ocean. It comes again and again. Then they cried to the Lord in their trouble, and he saved them from their distress. Let them thank the Lord for his steadfast love, for his wonderful works to humankind. And then the last 10 verses mussing upon it all, and concluding with the invitation to learn wisdom by pondering the whole thing. Feel the force and sweep of this repeated pattern. Then stand back from it and hold within the framework of the psalm the different situations you see and you can focus what you see on the television news or read about in the newspaper, the different crises and problems you face at work, in your family, in your town, hunger, unemployment, marriages under threat, child poverty, and so on and so on. And ask yourself why so few in today's world would regard the urgent advice of the psalmist as anything other than escapism. Today's Western world has labeled religion as either dangerous or irrelevant, and then has wondered why it finds itself wandering in the desert, sitting in darkness and gloom, sick and despairing, and tossed to and fro by the wind and the wave. Because underneath the glorious poetry is glorious theology, the theology of God the Creator, God the life giver, God the rescuer. This is God's world, mysterious though that often seems. Those who find themselves lost and in danger, whether through their own fault or not, some but not all of those in trouble in this psalm have brought it upon themselves, not to shout out to their Maker for help. Help will not always come in the way we want or expect. Sometimes it may seem as though nothing has changed. But with that cry for help, the world tilts a fraction back toward its proper balance, and ways forward can be found. Even though people are then left, as in the last 10 verses, to reflect wisely on the larger interconnectedness of human behavior and the power of God. The particular passages we are instructed to read today, the first 3 verses and then verses 17 to 22, highlight thankfulness. Praising God for deliverance is the glad, genuinely human stance which we are invited to take up. And there is special grace and mercy in unexpected places, such as verses 17 and 18. How often do we as pastors hear it said that God won't help me because it's my own fault that I am in this mess? We sometimes draw back from saying to people, "You brought it on yourself," because that sounds and sometimes is cruel. Yet often enough it's true too. But the good news is, of course, that while we were still sinners, the Messiah died for us. Romans chapter 5 verse 8. Many of us know this in theory. We all need to be surprised by it in practice again and again. Yes, some of us need to hear, "You are in this mess because you knowingly choose to do this and this." The warning signs were there and you ignored them. So what? God is the creator and He is also the rescuer. He takes special delight in rescuing the totally undeserving. When He does that, His love and grace are in display all the more powerfully. The earliest Christians would have spotted in verse 20 a clear anticipation of the message of John's Gospel. He sent out His word and healed them. Your all-powerful word leaped from heaven, from the royal throne, into the midst of the land that was doomed, wrote the first century Jewish age in Wisdom 18:15. A mind steeped in John's prologue will pick up, of course, the reference to Jesus. But we should also see in the strange interconnectedness of God's grace a reference to the healing, rescuing power of the word, spoken or written. The word of witness, our warning, of comfort or prayer, of challenge or encouragement. Words, after all, reach both hearts and minds, and that, again and again, is where healing begins, with thanksgiving as its first fruit. Be present, merciful and powerful God, to all those who are in despair or desolation this day. May they know your rescuing power and give you thanks. Amen to that. Amen. As we walk in this new week, may it be a renewed thinking and reflection on this 4th week. Again, on our way to Easter. God bless you. This is your Pastor Yeti. Bye-bye.